With the culture in our land, it's hard, but we tried because people have always negative attitudes towards persons with disabilities. And it's hard always to make them accept what we advocate for. Cultural perceptions on persons with disabilities is completely negative. They see completely nothing valuable in you. They say you can't study, you shouldn't work, you just stay home, shouldn't contribute anything in terms of ideas. You don't need to waste resources being taken to school, being given good things. There's nothing good you can do because you have a form of disability. That is the rigid perception which is still prevailing in villages. LRA was all over the north and some parts of eastern Uganda. Our village was an area for their dwelling. We evacuated the village and we ran to the camp. My side was already dim, and so that can now make you draw some pictures of the challenges I had in the camp. Since the rebels could come anytime, throwing bullets, burning the huts, cutting the earth, so dreadful, so horrible, so bad. Yeah, it was.
In our village, there's no home that has not lost anybody due to the LRA. Growing up at that time was not easy. Many children dropped out because there was no school. Our school was attacked many times when we were there. Economically, parents couldn't do commercial activities because of the war, and they couldn't support their children to go to school. And many people were killed. The local councils, the teachers were all being taken as enemies of the rebel.
I remember she came to the annex with Mr. Odua Samuel, and they were talking of things I didn't understand.
When she came, she said, for me, I'm interested in helping vulnerable children in the community. So I took Sandra together with the other ladies to Gulu High School. They talked a lot about the possibilities of helping vulnerable children who have visual impairment.
We're talking about sharing experience about the education of the visually impaired. I wanted to know more about how the blind go through schools in the developed world and comparing it with what we're doing here. I told them the challenge I was facing as a teacher. I also told them the problem the students were facing. And they said technology could solve that.
So the way Uganda came about was a friend of mine who is blind was traveling there. She had gone to work on a project and ended up at this orphanage where they had an outreach program. She trained me how to be a mobility instructor. I went along as a helper. There's a lot of open source software that I've always used technology, so I understand the benefit. And I brought a computer, figuring technology is always good. And I saw how proficient Marilyn was on the computer and knew that it would be handy for them to have one. We were going to be in Gulu, Northern Uganda, and we were going to be meeting with students of all ages, and we would be there for 8 days. At the end of our time, the leaders said, you know, a lot of people come here and they say they're going to come back, but they really don't. But we believe you. We believe you'll come back. I really heard them when they said, we believe you that you're coming back. That's what happened.
Cool.
Oysters and Pearls is an organization that's focused on bringing technology to education.
Where is the control key? Where are the arrow keys?
Our anchor has been working with the blind and visually impaired at Gulu High School in Gulu in Northern Uganda.
But it's not hard to get, yes?
Sandra came back with 2 computers. We started teaching the blind how to use computer. That is when we set up the Library and Technology Center at Gulu High School.
First press the wheel key, you roll down.
That became the center for training the visually impaired in computer.
They were talking of the computer, the JAWS, the computer trainings going to be started. As time went on, I got to understand. I was quick and sharp. I was good. I was fast among all the students learning, much as it was yet my first time.
My role here is to help those who are visually impaired to learn computer. I teach the 3 packages, the Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint presentation, and database. JAWS is a screen reader. It helps to navigate through different programs on a computer. We can able to use keyboard very well to execute commands. We begin to develop their knowledge up to the level where they can use computer very well. At first, I never thought of me learning a computer because I never had an idea of people with visual impairment could use computer. I never thought of it. That belief is still there.
Basil is a really fascinating young man, was kind of like written off by the society as somebody who would not grow up to maybe be a productive member of the society. You can't believe that this is somebody who a few years before didn't know anything about the computer, but now he is teaching other students, teaching them computer. This is one of the brightest people I feel I've ever met. That shows how the program is really beneficial, because Basil being one of the pioneers of the program.
12 tables?
He's a good teacher. He's teaching us well, how to create tables, and then prepare queries, and then reports.
I will let you try to imagine it. I couldn't get to school just because my own parents, my own siblings, everyone at home, everyone in the village, at the countryside, thought it was all over for me. I couldn't see, so I couldn't read. It was a tough time in a very violent society. I was born in the wartime. I was hopeless. So when I came into contact with computers that have screen readers, I don't know, I can't describe the feeling. I want you to imagine that. It was powerful.
She used to do an assignment. The majority of women are just computer illiterate all over Uganda. I'm the first woman to learn, and I'm well versed with, but others we are still just training them to also come up. In 2016, we had 2 assessments on the computer. I was ranked to be the highest in the country.
It makes me proud that our level of computer understanding is actually more than the people who even have sight.
So try to press it.
We realized in observing the blind students They were more proficient in using the computer and technology than a lot of the sighted students we encountered. You meet students who are sighted and they've never touched a computer, and our students could teach them. That reinforces what I thought back in 2012, and somehow it's still true. Despite various investments made by many entities to improve computer access among the sighted population, we needed a program that could help them as well. And in order to do that, we needed something that was interesting, and maybe even something that might allow you to earn a living even while you're a student, such as an Android app or learning how to create a game. Those are things that can generate revenue now.
This is a breadboard.
Uganda has a well-stated, well-articulated program with an interest and focus in STEM programs, and that is obviously an area of interest.
Stay. Okay, when we fly this one?
I think you could say that our methodology is demonstration teaching.
So class, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna fly it first, and then I'm gonna get in the air.
This is maybe a little dangerous to say, but an alternative to the typical classroom environment within Uganda. Kids need to learn by doing.
So just leave it there for a second, and then look here. So maybe like look at the guys.
One of the primary examples of that was our partnership with Engineering is Elementary, which is an organization based out of the Museum of Science in Boston.
This project in particular teaches engineering to primary or elementary age students. And so the idea is if you can expose students to engineering at a very young age and tie it to problems that are interesting to solve, as opposed to like a quadratic equation, which is not that interesting to solve, then you could make it more relevant to their lives and widen the STEM pipeline.
Yeah, 33.
Theme is science, technology, engineering, and maths. We've now added another element, and that's art. So now we call it STEAM: science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics.
It changes. They came over with a program, but they used the teachers within the school to also do the teaching.
Yes.
We want them to learn it, and then we want them to evolve the program so that it makes sense within a Ugandan context.
So it's set to the 7th. So right now we're doing train the trainer session to teach teachers how they can use the tools better. What if we go fast? Kinesthetic activities, move your body around with and learn at the same time these digital concepts. We have Raspberry Pi training by Carl Twarog from East Carolina University. Terminal through this, you can get to terminal from up here.
Personally, being able to do a few workshops with the Raspberry Pi, people were able to see the difference. Since then, Mackenzie rented a space, was able to start a place called MC Bots, taught a workshop with the Raspberry Pi. Klaus was working on a computer club at his school, taught program in Python. Those things might have gone on anyway, but we were able to kind of underscore it, have conversations about, what would this be useful for.
Do you see any words? What does it say?
It's really just constantly evolving. So this is everybody? And we learn from our mistakes, and we also learn from our successes, and we see what's working. Let's do more of that. And the reason is we really need to demonstrate what the capabilities are, and that's through bringing this technology.
All right, great. So now we have our sensor ready. We all know this, that imbalance. We don't have female developers.
That corner.
We don't have a lot of female engineers. We don't have a lot of women who are involved in technology. But it's the fact that they're not exposed. So we recruit as much girls as possible for our programs. For instance, we have the program Technovation. Afterwards, we saw a spike in the enrollment numbers. Now we have 55% of girls compared to 45% who are boys. That doesn't happen every day in some of these schools.
What's different about Uganda is because a lot of these subjects are new to everybody, they have a chance to kind of do it differently where girls and women are part of it at the outset.
Here at the camp, we teach cutting-edge technology skills starting around 9 and going up to 18. So really the demographic is sort of high school age.
They're split up in 3 different tracks. There's video game design, advanced robotics for kids who are returning, and then we have foundation robotics for kids. It's their first time at the camp. And then for the blind and the visually impaired students, they get to learn how to leverage technology. The kids here are exposed to technology that otherwise they would be unable to access. Here they get to have hands-on experience with all this technology and create content.
Yeah, it helps the blind students.
They also look at problems that they have out there in the community, and using what they have learned, they try to create solutions for those problems.
In our project, we are solving the problem of accidents, which is very common. Go this side. We're using the traffic lights, which is controlled by the computers, to solve the problem of accident. We are trying to fix our wires to the Arduino board, and then we connect it to the power source so that the traffic lights can light.
It's a motion sensor, or sorry, a distance sensor.
A distance sensor.
Other groups are also solving the problem of drought and others directions, helping the blind.
And then here is wet soil.
We're solving all sorts of environmental problems. I'm taking the foundational robotics class, which is mostly for beginners, people who are not well acquainted with computers, to introduce you more slowly. We use this easy software's Scratch, which is easier for beginners because it's just a matter of dragging blocks, putting them where it's supposed to be. We started going more and more into the advanced ones like the Arduinos. At least they teach us up to a level which we can understand, and then the rest they leave it for the advanced class.
Arduino, small robot brain. Picoboard, sensor for scratch. Breadboard, please Arduino. I forgot this one.
In case you're not paying attention, technology is complicated. And it's only getting more and more complicated. We need to start teaching it younger and younger. When spray one click. Open source is the idea that not only do you have access to the interface, but you can see the underlying foundational structure, and you can alter that. It enables innovation in a way that is unprecedented. Scratch, it comes out of MIT, and it's an amazing tool. It's a drag and drop environment that you can use to teach really complicated concepts, such as sensors, code iteration, so when code loops, and variables.
He's picking this up really quickly.
But you can teach it to kids as young as maybe 4 or 5. Before Scratch, you had to wait until high school, maybe even college. With this, you can teach it at elementary school level. Thank you, MIT.
The idea of adding video game design, premise being if they understand that, they can build a game into the Ugandan economy and publish it on the international market.
It's not just playing computer games, you're not just having fun, you're actually training your brain to become sharper. As time goes on, they adapt, their brain gets used to it, you see them learning, and it doesn't take them a lot of time.
My favorite part is the coding, the programming. I like this part to make it either move, stop, jump. I enjoy it because it sharpens most of the thinking capacity, because it needs really brain work to code that thing to work the way you want it.
You build it, mountains, some hills and trees. It makes you feel happy. It's a nice game.
Had you ever used the computer program before, Unity?
I know.
No?
Yeah.
How'd you learn it so fast?
You know, these people are quick enough. They'll teach you to do these duties. You'll pick it right.
Teaching someone how to code who might not have even used a computer. Clicking a mouse itself is a problem. From nowhere, they don't even know what a programming language is, and you teach them how to code. They're already comfortable. They've built so much already. It's really impressive. The students are amazing.
Just back again.
They went into details about Unity. They are really good at explaining.
Try and run around and see what happens.
Everybody in the whole class was able to understand how to use it. Just 10 lines of code, and it's really simple. Here we are.
Yeah, I wish they did this in more places in Uganda. I started doing this after university, and these kids have a chance to learn this now.
I think it will be a very good idea if they actually can make a game for virtual reality. That's the plan. And I'm really, really looking forward to what they're going to create.
When the drum is playing,
we are getting the blind students to work together with the sighted students. The technology is still not advanced for them to use complicated music production software. The sighted students come in to help them with that.
The music we always organize every year. At the end of this camp, we decided to take it to another level. The name of the song is Love Yourself. We can't use the music softwares simply because JAWS cannot support it. We would need the help of sighted people.
Working with the sighted was so easy. I never thought the computer could be a musical instrument. It was a new thing to me. It even gave me new ideas. I'm saying,
yes,
when the drum is playing,
Understanding the way to do it was a little hectic. We were really independent and liberated, that we choose what we really want.
See, I don't have two mouths.
I did enjoy working with the sighted in this project. I've found the good association I'll ever enjoy, because this sighted realize that I am also really capable and we can share our ideas together.
I think that's the instrument.
Technology has brought a very great change to people who are visually impaired, bridging the friendship between the blind students and the sighted. When you bring them together, that's when they will come to know the reality that what we actually do, it's the same thing.
This is not something that you see every day. This is technology that is still new. I think we're the only ones in Uganda who have it. And we're just trying to level the field. All this technology that you've been introduced to, all the skills that you're learning, how do you use them outside there in the real world? But what happens when they start following that road is up to them. Each and every day we're moving closer to achieving the vision of Oysters and Pearls.
The work we're doing is really changing the whole playing field.
Well, we have to change their opinion.
And changing the perception. We're looking for real social change, and that's people's attitudes towards blind and visually impaired. We're looking to change the perception about what is the skill level of a typical Ugandan. That's our contribution to the future, is seeing what is possible by giving access to more technology and making it relevant.
The war took away most of the middle-aged people, and generally as a country, the number of people below 30 is higher than any other age group. All these people are simply growing up and they don't have skills. The bigger impact here is to equip the youth. You give them these skills, like how Oysters is trying to do, and in the end they're going to become really, really productive members of the society, because they have the skills that can drive the country forward, and these skills can also be transferred onto other generations.
I see it as something which is very important. This is a stepping stone to youths, so that they start becoming job creators, not job seekers. I can repair radios, phones, TVs. I can do house wiring. I think I can generate money to pay the tuition fees when I'm at school.
If you really don't know something to do with robotics or computers, you're going to be a bit behind. We should learn more about technology as soon as possible. It can really help the whole country.
Technology we use here is very few areas where it's being used, and very few people know about it. It's good that we are learning it. We have Raspberry Pi, we have the Arduino, we have the PC Arduinos, we have the breadboard, 3D printers. If there's this kind of technology, we are the perfect guys for that job because we know most about it.
Our students are already making a difference.
If you have more than one table, they're all...
Basil was at university on full scholarship. Over the summer, while he was waiting for university to start, he was training community members, going back to his primary school and teaching his former visually impaired primary school teachers how to use the computer.
I help them update their computers, and then I train them. That's how I make money. It comes easy.
Oysters and Pearls program is very important in the life of the visually impaired. We have been sending more students to university. We now have a computer center, which is the first of its kind in the country. Other schools are now copying from us. They thought it was impossible. But when they saw us doing it with the help of Oysters and Pearls, they are now in for it. It is really big now. It is considered one of the best technology programs available. The parents who come get so excited. They want all their children to attend.
I'm very, very happy. I thought she could not make this kind of thing.
Sandra Washburn is a pathbreaker. She's a visionary.
Village to teach, but...
She's a person who took a leap of faith in Uganda. Looking at 10, 20 years from now, leaving it to the people in their hands.
Press enter.
The seed she planted, every year we are seeing the returns.
Beautiful. You've done it.
Wherever there's an envelope to push, Sandra Washburn is there, pushing it and telling people that she thinks that we can reach that stretch goal. When you put that kind of confidence in people, they deliver 110%.
The kind of heart that I've seen in her, I think It's a very rare heart. So I've learned a lot from her. Sandra knows exactly what she's doing. She's someone who works without rest.
First thing I want to do is acknowledge the teachers.
The way she advocates, she mobilizes the community, encouraging the students, and that is a kind of encouragement our community needs. I've been with Sandra for long. I know her. For those who give her support, they are investing their support in the right hand. I'm saying this practically from where this activity is taking place.
What she has done, I think it's a permanent stamp to each of us to have a brighter future and see the world in a different view.
You know, my experience with technology has changed me dramatically, changed the way I see the world. I feel very, very independent. I have friends, even sighted people. My esteem grew up. Success at school comes with pleasing my parents because I am also successful. I'm quite hopeful. I want to let that story become everyone's story, and I'm quite optimistic. Whoever absorbs this can be just like me. Oh, Lord, this marriage.
Free like a bird you fly. Your love is much deeper than you and I. And the way you rise above the ordinary crowd makes everyone want you to heal them. Everyone wants you to heal them. But me, I just want you around. If you were lost, I would find you. If you forgot, would remind you too. Now, but I don't give a damn how you wear your hair. It's the love that you spread through the air. The love that you spread through the air. And I hope that you'll always be there. 'Cause I could not imagine anyone closer to me. Not that it matters to the rest of the world. If I only had a minute left to spend with you till eternity, I would make my life just one short minute long. Yeah, I would make my life, I would make my life one short minute long, one short minute long.